Bam! Gotta love when that happens. Or not. Hey. It's that time of the day. It's time for a little speaking of happy. Welcome to the show. I am Eli Gattuso. I am your host for this evening. Well, I'm your host for all the shows for Speaking of Happy, unless there's an exception and a special event in town. I am willing to pass on the mic if I am not the person who should be speaking. So, contrary to popular belief out in the community, I do know how to pass the mic. I do. So thank you so much to those of you who have already joined. It looks like we have 4 people watching. I really appreciate you joining us this evening because this is our Pride edition. We are going to talk about all things Pride, and Pride is actually this weekend here in Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm really super excited about that. Got 2 special guests joining me today. First up is our Vice President and Secretary of Heartland Pride with a whopping 10 years total of volunteering with the organization. Volunteering with the organization with the last 6 as a board member. During the day, she's a special education teacher. So it sounds like she gives a lot of herself to help and provide support for folks. Welcome to the show. One of our biggest fans, actually, as well, Nikki Trahan Ferris. Hey.
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Let me turn this music down so I can turn you up. Let me go back to that. I got to play around with my system here. It's going to stop shortly. Boom. Apologize. I was a little bit unprepared. Hold on just a second, Nikki.
You're okay.
All right. I'm going to do this because I needed to open over there and then I need to shut that. And now you can talk. There we go.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
It's going really super well. Thank you so much for, first of all, I mean, I know you started volunteering with Heartland Pride back when I was still serving on the board, I believe.
Yes, I've seen a lot of presidents.
Yeah, so. You certainly have. You certainly have. But you know what? The turnover is not a surprise because again, it is a somewhat thankless position.
I do it because I love it. I started volunteering so I can get into Pride free. I'm broke. I'm always broke. So this is my way of giving to the community and getting something out of it at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Originally, I did. You know what I did? Because I was actually one of the founders of the organization. What I did is I told a buddy of mine, we had gone to a Pride celebration that actually took place down on the riverfront. And and I mistakenly said to him, because he was complaining, he was like, oh my God, this Pride sucks. Oh my God, this entertainment sucks. Oh my God. And we were at the event and I looked at him and I said, look, unless you plan on actually getting involved and doing something about it, shut the F up.
Yes.
And
we're all about taking criticism, but if you're not going to help out, stop.
Yeah. But so I said that to him, right? And then a few weeks later, I get a phone call, and it is the guy who actually co-founded and one of the original board members calls me and says, hey, we're starting a advisory council for the Pride organization for Rainbow Celebrations, basically. Yeah. And he said, and I got your name from so-and-so because he gave the guy... I said, either you get involved or you go away. And no complaints to be had. And he said that if you agreed to participate, that he would too. And I was just like, all right, fine. And you know what we did? We actually met once a week for an entire year.
Ooh, we're not that good.
To get what is now today Heartland Pride going.
Yeah.
Because our commitment was needs to be a 501c3. It needs to stay a 501c3. We need to be committed to making sure that we have all of our checks and balances in place, the T's crossed, the I's dotted, all of the legal things that need to happen in order for the organization to be successful.
Yeah,
So
thankfully
that's
we have a phenomenal treasurer that is able to take care and make sure that we keep maintaining the 501c3 because goodness gracious, there are
well, yeah,
so
there's a
many
lot.
rules.
There is. It's a lot of work. And so I think that's one of the things that people just don't understand. It's like there's just this general misunderstanding about what's actually going on. Like all of you are who's making all the money. It's like it literally goes right back into the
None.
organization. So
Goes to the organization and
anyway,
the community.
yeah, the organization and the community. And I think that that's really beautiful. I mean, there has been a lot of things that have changed since I was part of the organization, and I love what y'all are doing. But I'm going to bring our second guest on so we can really start to have a conversation about what's happening with Pride this weekend. I'm so excited. I keep hearing all these wonderful things. But our next guest today is currently the Pride chair, or the parade chair with Pride um, for Heartland Pride. He has a commitment to helping others in the community, and he works in human resources here in Omaha, in the Omaha metro area, and attends UNO in the College of Business. Please help me welcome Samuel Parnell to
Hi.
our hey to our live stream this evening. So much so grateful that you have joined us this evening to have a conversation and share some of the amazing and exciting things that are going to be happening with Pride this weekend.
Absolutely. I'm really happy that you invited us on.
Yeah. Right on. Well, let's just get to business. What's the first thing, Nikki, that folks can expect coming up this weekend?
To have fun. I mean, if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. It's not our fault. The first thing we have coming up for Pride is going to be our Youth Pride, and Jessica and Lauren are taking care of that.
Okay.
This is for individuals that are under 21 who are in the community and identify under LGBTQIA2S plus umbrella. We want to have a space. The space was created by Dominique Morgan, and we're helping build it and keep making it stronger and stronger each year. We give out 4 this year. Now we started last year, 4 scholarships for individuals in the Omaha, Nebraska, Iowa area who want to excel more in their education, either in a college, university, or a trade. So
nice. Yeah. Okay. So here's Youth Pride, July 15th, this Friday, 6 to 10 p.m. So you're going to be awarding the scholarship winners for this year, correct?
Yes. We have 4 recipients. I believe all 4 will be there this year.
Awesome. That is super exciting. And we're at the CHI Center this year. Can you tell me a little bit about why the choice was made to move the events to the CHI Center downtown?
We're growing, and we love Baxter. Everything we had at Baxter was phenomenal, except for the space. We wanted to get more space because for the vending area, an information booth, they're very crowded. And we actually had to turn people away because we can only put so many people in such a space. Yeah. With us moving to CHI, we have purchased the entire building. We're one of 4 organizations that have done that. We're the first organization of our caliber that has done it. So their Mecca is learning along with us on some of the things. That's why we had a late start with getting the announcement out. We already knew we were trying to transition, but we had to wait for all the ducks in a row to be lined up before we can announce Pride. So we're not late to the party. We're just, a lot of things were happening behind the scenes and a little slower than we anticipated. But with us moving to CHI and taking up the entire space, we wanted to make sure that no individuals or groups that had negative intentions towards our community would be able to rent a space there at the same time. So we have control. And that's what we needed to have for the community that we're engaging with.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, super smart, especially with what's happening out in the world today. I mean, There's a
And
lot
it's
of
really
things that,
costly, and we're making sure that we don't pass it on to the individuals coming in. We kept the price the same as what we had at Baxter,
yep.
trying to keep it financially reasonable.
Yeah.
And I know that's
I mean,
harder
that
for
is,
some people.
despite what some people will say, there are people I know who are complaining about that price point, and I'm sorry, but the truth of the matter is this: for everything that's being offered, it is a deal.
$20 for 8 hours of entertainment and fun.
Yeah. And you're supporting the local community, local entertainers. Yes, there are national acts that are going to be there, but it's like we have drag
We
queens that
we
are
have
local to
21
the area.
performers coming from the local area.
See? Amazing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about, again, I'll be the guy who will show up on those feeds and say, all right, ixnay on the conversation A about the price. We know every year Pride is happening. If you cannot set aside money to come to Pride, or if you need help with Pride, look, inbox me at Speaking of Happy if you need help
Yeah.
going to Pride, and I will see what I can do to help you. I know that there are other organizations out there. I mean, the fact that Youth Pride is free, so for some of the younger kiddos who may not have parents who are supportive, they don't have to worry about coming up with any money to go because it's free. So it's like, it's taking all of those things into consideration.
And we
Right?
also have
So,
volunteer opportunities that are still open too, that you can join to work 2 hours, and the rest of Pride is free. And
yeah.
you get a T-shirt.
Okay. So
We
2 hours.
also, yep.
And where can they go on the website to actually sign up for that?
On
Or is it
our,
too
no,
late?
it's on our Facebook page
Okay.
for volunteer. The image they're going to look for is a person, I assume male, standing next to a brick wall in a white T-shirt with our shirt from last year. Is the
Okay.
visual.
Is that basically, though, just sending them to a link to sign up?
Correct.
Okay, because I'm just going to post the link. So here, I'm just going to post the link to the volunteer application.
And with us, people are saying we're corporate. No, we're not corporate. We're showing individuals in our community that there are 200 plus vendors that are in our community that want to help us in some form or fashion, that are not anti-LGBTQ 2+ individuals. So there's corporate as well as local artisan companies. And I can thank who did that? Olivia came up with that idea of having local artisans who make 60% of their product, will be selling their stuff at the booth as well. So that's phenomenal. We're getting
So this is local
community.
artists.
Yes.
Local artists. Okay, so let's kind of like do. I know you're so excited.
I am. I'm geeked out. We've been planning this for a year.
I just want to make sure that everybody. So I'm going to send two. There's two links here. The one is actually to the form for volunteering. The other one just takes you to the page where you have to click on the part that says 2022 Heartland Pride volunteer application. So if you still want to volunteer for 2 hours, you can get yourself a free ticket to Pride.
And we need
So
help for the parade.
Okay, so sign up there, and they can sign up to help at the parade, or they can sign up to help at Youth Pride.
Youth Pride, I think we have full, so we need parade and festival.
Okay, so parade and festival, I'm looking here on the application. So you can volunteer for a 2-hour shift. Now it does says festival and parade setup, festival, and then parade. So there's 3 options on that application. You got to put in your t-shirt size. You put in any other accommodations that they need to make for you. And then you click submit. It's that easy. And then when you sign up, you actually get into the event for free.
Absolutely.
Okay? There you go. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear about that. For those of you who are watching who may still want a ticket, you can go and get a ticket there. Okay, cool. All right. So Youth Pride, that happens Friday night.
Yep. And there's going to be free food, free pizza, free drinks for the individuals, adults included that come with their children.
Is that until supplies last, or do you think you'll have
enough?
Yeah.
We think we have enough to accommodate the individuals based on last year's numbers.
Okay. How many people showed up for Youth Pride last year?
Goodness gracious. We did not keep a ticket tally because it was free. This year, we're going to do a clicker just to see how many individuals we have, because We never thought of that aspect. Last year was the biggest group. So I recruited my friend Jessica. She is a middle school teacher. And I was like, hey, just like I did Samuel, it's going to be like 4 hours a month, maybe max. Like that's all you're going to have to do. And then this is what it is. And so you hook them in and then you get them and then they stay.
But really, it turns out to be like 24, 25 hours a month.
Well, I mean, 24, 25 hours a month is pretty good compared to what I was giving many, many years ago. So, I mean, we were meeting for at least an hour a month, but then we were putting together everything, the 501c3, getting everything started.
So
all
thank
of
you for the foundation. We appreciate it.
Well, you are very welcome. And there are other folks to congratulate for that.
Absolutely.
And for the torch that has been kind of passed along down the line. You know, Christina Ariano spent some time serving. Dominique Morgan, you shared about her and the fact that she helped to create Youth Pride and then it kept it going for a number of years before she, I think last year or the year before was her last year there, helping out with Pride. So with Youth Pride. So, I mean, there's been a legacy of really extraordinary folks who were committed to making sure that this event grew from year to year to year. We needed to have that foundation. So Youth Pride, 6 to 10 p.m. this coming Friday night, July 15th, free to everyone. It is focusing on kiddos that are 21 and younger, though. I mean, if you are an adult and you want to come to Youth Pride, you can certainly do that. You don't have to stay away. But this is primarily focused on the youth of the community. Now, let's move to, I have a question about that too.
Yes.
Is the entertainment, now I know for Youth Pride, the entertainment is in that same room where they all kind of have, but are the vendors going to be separate from where entertainment's going to be in the new venue? How does that look?
Well, for the Youth Pride, I think the vendors and entertainment are going to be in the same section. For the festival, the entertainment and vendors are separate. The entertainment's going to be where the concerts are, and the vendors are going to be mostly where, like if you went to the Omaha Home and Garden show, it's in that giant area. Like we're taking up that entire space. There's going to be inflatables, people, food, fun, holy buckets, a lot.
Okay. But then the entertainment itself, though, the main stage entertainment, is that also happening in that room?
No.
Okay. So there's a separate place to go to get to that.
Yes. Those doors will open for the festival aspect, will open at 4 for entertainment.
Okay. And where is that at in comparison to where the actual festival will be taking place at noon, from noon to 4? I'm just curious.
So from 1 to 4, noon to 4, like doors will let people in at noon. And then the doors to the vendor area and all the other festivities, with not including any of our local or national entertainment, that's going to be in the, like, oh my goodness, I don't even know how to explain it. The CHI center, like where you would go.
So there's an arena, like
yes,
a big stadium type.
Not the big stadium where the seats are, but the other area where all the rooms and stuff are.
Oh, okay.
Where all the glass is, the artwork in front, the metal sculptures, it's all in that building.
Right. I know. But I'm talking about like the entertainment, though, is separate from, just like at the Baxter Arena, the tables and everything that were set up were separate from what was happening where the main stage entertainment was.
Correct. And the main stage is going to be where, like, if you were going to a concert at CHI, it's there.
Okay.
With all the stadium seating and all the stage aspects, curtains and such.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the parade. Samuel, why don't you share with us a little bit about the parade? I'll bring the Facebook or the website back up here.
Absolutely.
Full screen again. Here's our little parade route. But can you tell me, what are the numbers at? What are we at right now? Numbers wise?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I say anything about the parade, I want to thank you. I know we've talked a lot about kind of the history of Heartland Pride, but really this wouldn't be possible without having that solid foundation built. Like, Nikki and I joke all the time about how, she told me it was a 4-hour commitment and it's turned into a kind of a part-time job. But I can't imagine, the hours that you and everybody else involved put in to set this up. And, on behalf of everybody, on the board and everybody that attends, it all goes back down to the original people that started it. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, we used to literally set up outside, and we had John Paul and Jeff who set up all of those tents over at Stinson Park and spent hours setting it up. And then we had to worry about whether or not it was going to rain and knock everything down. And there were many times where we were scrambling to set everything back up again. And then I remember very distinctly times when like nobody volunteered to help tear down. And so we were literally, one Pride, we literally spent the whole night tearing everything down, packing everything up, loading it up, moving it back to the storage unit. We literally finished just as they were opening the farmers market.
oh,
And
wow.
we were just exhausted from that whole night. So like the way that things have grown and changed and gotten better, gotten easier for folks because it is an all volunteer board and all volunteers helping to put this thing together. I think if people understood how much money we're actually saving by having the volunteer board and staff instead of actually having a staff run Pride, plus it's so much more personal and heartfelt,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And one of these days we should have a big party and celebrate some of the folks who were there from the beginning and kind of all the way through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, the parade is going to happen on Saturday, July 16th, starts at 10 a.m. and goes until about noon. How many people do we have signed up for the parade?
Well, I am very happy to announce that we are having the biggest parade to date. I have over 145 individual entries in the parade. And just to put that in perspective, last year we had 108 total entries. Um, the parade has grown so much over the years. I know Nikki had the parade and grew it a ton. And, it's just become bigger and bigger and bigger. This year, it was a bittersweet moment. I had to start turning organizations away about mid June,
Mm,
and it was. I felt bad doing it because I don't want to turn anybody who's a supporter of our community away. But I ran out of room. It's
yeah.
going to be tight. Staging is going to be really tight. There's a lot of entries to fit in that small area, but I'm super excited. Everybody that has attended in years past has always been super excited to be in the parade or view it. So um, this is more than likely going to be the last year where it holds the same route. I think next year we may change the route so that we can have more people join us in the parade.
Yeah.
So again, kind of a bittersweet moment. I love the route that we have now. That's kind of the parade that I know. But we want to move on to bigger and better. So
Yeah.
Saturday morning, 10 a.m. is when the parade starts. It's going to start at 15th and Harney in the old market here in Omaha, and it's going to travel down Harney Street to 11th and head south to 10th Street. I'm sorry, not 10th. That south to
Howard.
Howard Street, and then turn back east. So pretty much anywhere in that area in the old market, you'll be able to see all the rainbows and music and happiness that's around. You'll be able to find it. So
Yeah.
super
I mean,
super
you
excited.
can't miss it. There's all of these places in here along this path where you can come with your family. And do we have any idea about how many people? I know when the parade first returned to Omaha, there were thousands of people
Hmm.
that came down to watch the parade, which was like huge.
The official estimate I got from the 2021 parade was I'd have to check my email. I believe it was 11,000, 10 to 11,000. This year they're estimating closer to 13,000, and with
Wow.
the amount of entries, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer to 15 or 20,000. I really do think it's going to be that big this year. Plus, a lot more people are comfortable coming out this year because last year we were still navigating the pandemic, and we still are. But I think this year more people are more comfortable coming out.
Yeah.
The
And
parade
last year
will.
we also had a freak thunderstorm too.
Oh, we
So
did. That's right. That's right. We
Yeah.
had the big storm come through. We had a few organizations pull out, and thankfully, this year we actually gave a lot of those free entries into the parade just as a thank you of, like for example, OPPD was one last year that they emailed me that morning and they're like, "We're so sorry, we can't come." I'm like, "No, don't worry. People need their power. That's
Yeah.
more important. Keep that truck out working."
Right.
They're like, we can't, we don't have the staff to come in. I'm like, "Don't worry about it. We'll move your entry to next year." So we've got a lot of those that are coming that couldn't participate last year because of the storm.
Yeah. I mean, and really just putting all of this together. I mean, let's put this into serious perspective here, right? Now, you said 148 entries.
Roughly there, between
Okay.
140 150.
Right.
Yeah.
And the average St. Patrick's Day parade doesn't even have that many.
I took their information because I went to the police whenever I first got a hold of being, because I was youth pride chair
Mhm.
when we switched over to Omaha. The person who was doing it in Council Bluffs could not do it over here. So I took over and I'm like, okay, sure, this is going to be easy. No. Um, and so I went to the police and they said, learn from St. Patty's Day. And I'm like, okay. So I went to the St. Patty's Day parade and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here. Don't want to hide anything. I said, can you tell me about your setup? I had no idea who to contact. He's like, here you go. Here's the map. This is what we did. And after it's over, call me and I'll give you more guidance. And I did. And I took my information from them. So they assisted
Yeah.
me very openly.
Here's what I was going to say, though, to illustrate to people listening is that when we left Omaha, right? So when the parade left Omaha because of all of the having to navigate College World Series and we couldn't have it at the same time and all this other stuff, but we still wanted to have Pride happen in June. That's why the parade was moved. And it was pretty big over in Council Bluffs, but I don't think it's ever gotten this big. I don't think over in Council Bluffs it ever got this big. But think about this, though. In coming back to Omaha, we have proven to the city of Omaha in a very short period of time, like what, 3 years, that we can bring the people to the party. And that's one of the things that the city is like, well, I mean, how many people are we talking about? How many things, what are we? And so I think that now, our LGBTQ plus advisory board that works with the mayor, and we specifically said we wanted the president of Pride to have a seat in that room because we wanted to figure out how do we get all of this back to Omaha. So there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes that most people don't even think about, and how quickly in 3 years we have gotten bigger than the St. Patty's Day parade. That's huge, folks. Like, that is massive. And there's a lot of moving parts there. So that's just incredible. I am so super excited.
I actually got off the phone yesterday with one of the traffic people from the police department yesterday, and he this person called me and he started the phone call off with the St. Patrick's Day parade and how they do this and they do that, and I kind of had to stop him and say, we're bigger than the St. Patrick's Day parade. And I think that was a shocker because I don't think they realized that, we've got 140, I want to say 145. I think that's the number I counted late last night. But regardless, I said that number and this person goes, are we going to have enough room for them? And I said, maybe. No, we will.
Well, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
helping very much with that because I've got a truck and a trailer together that's like 40 feet long.
It's a beautiful trailer. I'm definitely going to make room for it, but no, we'll have enough room. And thankfully, our participants that are walking in the parade or having a float in the parade, they are so understanding. I haven't had anybody complain about the amount of entries, the space. Everybody understands that it's going to be tight. It just is. But people know that this parade is so much more than just a parade. It's obviously going all the way back to 1969 and what happened then and what it means to everybody. And I think that people know that we have to make, if that small sacrifice of being a little congested at staging is what it takes to put on this amazing parade in Omaha, people are okay to do it. They're willing to do it. So I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be, I'm stressed. I'm not going to lie, but it's going to be controlled chaos up until about 11 a.m. that morning. And then we'll be able to enjoy ourselves at the festival. Or at least I will. Everybody else will be hopefully enjoying the parade. So,
Well,
We
hey,
also
man,
have
kudos
Walmart
to
is
you.
going to be donating water too, so we can make sure our participants stay hydrated.
Nice.
Because we, as board members, we attended various prides. Some went to Lincoln, I went to Council Bluffs, and people are passing out and dehydrated. We don't want that for our parade. And it's, I believe, last I saw was 95 degrees, so that's going to be
Yeah.
warm.
Oh, yeah. It's
So
going to
there's
be a
going to be
hot
3
morning.
stations where Walmart is going to be giving out free water as well.
Nice. Very nice. Awesome. Awesome. What else? Anything else about the parade? Oh, yes, there is something else. I wanted to tell folks again. I've been talking about this because I know the guy who, so one of the floats in the parade is going to be a float made up of folks who literally marched in the first Omaha march. And it wasn't a parade, but it was the march. And it happened in like 1988.
mhm.
And there were 67, 64 of them who walked, people literally walking, some of them with bags over their heads, because if they were seen by their places of employment, they could have been fired.
Yep.
And
It was done in the evening too.
you all gave them a space. But here's the thing, 1988 to now, there were close to 400 people who went downtown to watch this march of these 65, 67 people. And look at us today. There's going to be 148 floats in the parade and 13,000 people. I mean, that's huge. And now, granted, we've come a long way. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but this is a time for us to be able to celebrate the things that have changed, right? The ways in which we have slowly, incrementally made some changes. I wish they could be changed on a bigger, swifter scale. You know, there's so many people who have kept this pride alive and have done, contributed so many hours of their blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen. So I just think it's important for people to understand that. So I'm super excited to see this group have their float. I can't wait to see what they do. I'm hoping to actually do some interviews with some of those folks. One of them is Vince, my buddy Vince, who I've known for many, many years. Just so grateful for, the path that they paved, without those folks. And many of them are no longer with us. They didn't get to live to see this, right? So that's pretty extraordinary.
I was really hoping that you were going to ask me what my favorite entry is this year so far. No, I love them all. I love all the floats. I love seeing everything. I mean, the Speaking of Happy Pride Tour trailer is amazing. But I actually met Vince a year ago, and we wanted to get that group of original people in the parade last year, but it was so last minute that Vince was the one who I worked with, and they just couldn't get the people together. But I was so happy when his email came through this year, and I saw how many people were going to walk in the parade. And Vince is the most amazing person ever. He emailed me a few days later and said, or he started off and said that they were going to have like 4 or 5 people, and then they emailed me a few days later and said, we need a bigger space. We have so many more. And I was so happy to hear that all these people wanted to come back and walk. And, hopefully those that had to walk with a bag over their head years and years ago can now walk open and feel open. And that's going to be amazing. So I love all the floats, but there's just something about that one that was definitely my favorite this year.
Agreed.
It'll be called Pillars of Pride in the parade. So when you hear that over the announcement, that's what that group is.
Did you say it's Pillars of Pride?
Mm-hmm. Pillars of Pride. Yep.
Pillars of Pride.
They will be, I want to say 6 or 7 behind the Speaking of Happy Pride Tour trailer. So when you see
Okay.
that trailer, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
That float is about 5 or 6 or so behind that. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to my friend Vince and the fact that he reached out and that that is happening because, I was one of the 400 people that was standing on the sidelines because I was afraid of what would happen if I was seen marching in that parade. So, or that, I should say, that march, because again, back then it was not a parade. It was not a celebration. It wasn't seen that way. It was very scary for those folks. And so big kudos, big hats off to them. So like I said, I'm hoping to interview some of them and maybe put together a little mini documentary about that experience of then and now, talk to them about what it was like back then, and then kind of intersperse some of the stuff from this year. So super duper exciting. So it looks like the festival itself is going to be opening at 12:30. Is that what time it's
That's
opening?
the vendors.
Okay.
So that's part of the festival, but the vendor spot is going to be opening up at 12:30.
Okay. So let me just go to, well, I don't have anything on here. I guess it's not here. I was just going to show, well, this is some important things, right?
Yes. We do have to follow CHI's policy with a clear bag. So we are following
Okay.
that. We do have a locker because I know they get a lot of swag and stuff. So we're having, I think it's a locker truck that we have rented, and individuals will get to put their stuff in there for safekeeping unless they want to tote it back to their vehicle.
Okay, so this is a good thing to talk about then. So no outside food or beverage. The only exception to this is clear plastic water bottles for water. So they can bring in a clear plastic bottle for water.
Yes.
Okay, and that's it. No balloons or not allowed. Yep. So this is
Correct.
the list of not allowed. But you were talking about, where's this locker going to be placed?
It's going to be on the outside, I believe, of CHI, right where the sculptures are, I believe, on that sidewalk, but behind where you're going to be parked. So you're not going to be blocked.
Okay. So it's going to be inside or outside?
Outside, I believe.
Okay. But I'm parked inside, I thought.
Okay, then you're fine.
Festival and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's how it is. I could be
need to
wrong.
call the person. I need to call the person about that. I mean, I'm fine if I'm going to end up outside. That's not a big
No.
deal. But all right. So clear plastic bag. So if they do bring stuff, that they'll be stopped at the door and told that they have to take it back to their car, or they can get a locker. And is the locker free?
I believe it may be.
Okay. So it's
I'd
got a
have to
little
double
key
check.
on it, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have to check that out for sure. So there are some accessibility questions. Listening devices may be checked out free of charge at the guest services desk. There are going to be interpreters in there for the entertainment.
Absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to copy and paste this. So here are your FAQs so folks can actually read over that information.
And there will be police officers there too. It's part of CHI's policy. If people are asking about that. So yes, there will be.
Okay.
Uniformed officers.
Okay, so there's going to be uniformed officers there, but you also have some additional. Like, can we talk for a little bit about some of the extra things that you've been doing to make sure people can feel safe?
I'm going to let Samuel take care of this one because he's been integral with working with the individuals. So I'll let him take that.
Okay.
Absolutely. With everything going on this year, especially, safety is our number one top priority. We've had probably more meetings about safety than anything else, at least as far as the parade is concerned. We have been working with local authorities to make sure that they're doing their due diligence, making sure that if there are any potential threats, they're notified right away. I'm really happy to report that as of right now, nothing has come about yet. I don't think there will be anything. But again, we're always watching. And if anybody hears anything, send us an email, send us a Facebook message to our Heartland Pride inbox. We want to look into these things, no matter how low they might seem. We've contracted again this year with Elite Tactical. Now, Elite is a really, really unique security company in the sense that they have a very different outlook on security than a lot of your other typical security companies. Nick is a huge ally of our community. He is the co-founder, him and his wife, huge, huge allies to our community, and they understand our community. And that was the biggest thing. Their agents all understand our community. A lot of them are a part of our community as well. There's a lot of representation there for our community as well as the BIPOC community. So lots and lots of representation that was brought to the table in these discussions, which was really important to us. As far as actual things, we have a lot a lot more security this year. Not only uniformed officers, but also private security, and then some other things that I don't know all the final details yet. We're still working through a few things this week. One of the biggest perks, one of the biggest things that have happened this year as far as the community goes is Parasol Patrol is going to be here again this year. Eli and Pasha come all the way from Colorado. These two individuals are so dedicated to their mission, and their mission is to protect mainly kids, but anybody from hateful messages of protesters. Every year we get the protesters, and it's hard to deal with them because by law they're allowed to be there, and that's even though their messages are hateful,
they've been doing it for decades.
Right.
They've been there since the beginning of us having parades in Omaha. Right. I can remember the first parade that I was a part of that, we literally went from, I think it was Flick's parking lot down 10th Street.
Yep.
Or 11th Street, all the way down to the Riverside. And that was it. And there was maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 tops, maybe not even that many. But there was always a protester there. They had their big signs and they bring their megaphones and do their little thing. And the best recommendation I would make to anyone is, especially in this situation where we get to go inside and be inside, is to just not engage. Just walk right past them, go inside. They're standing out there screaming to nothing for most of the day.
Right.
So.
And thankfully, Parasol, like I said, their mission is they're going to block them. They hold these nice, colorful umbrellas, and they shield those kids and families from the hateful messages that the protesters have. So
they were asking, can we bring our own umbrellas to help?
Absolutely. Yes. That's Eli and Pasha come all the way from Colorado, and they bring a very small amount of umbrellas, but yes, if you have umbrellas, absolutely bring them.
Just know though, you can't bring the umbrellas into the CHI, but you can be outside with your umbrella. But I just noticed that when I was reading through the FAQs. So
absolutely.
Is there going to be a place where they're going to be in regard to the parade? Like, do we usually have any protesters along the parade route?
We do. And Samuel and I will be on golf carts and we'll be patrolling around looking for them. And as soon as we find them, we will radio, pick them up, and bring them to the location to block the protesters immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed this year, and I don't know if it's a good thing, and I apologize, somebody's doing fireworks outside of my window. Gotta love that. But one of the things that I'm kind of weirded out by, but also happy with, the Westboro Baptist Church, I know everybody is probably pretty familiar with that organization, have no plans to be at the parade. Last year, they hit all the Pride events. This year, they have not publicly posted that they're going to be at our event, and they have not attended, to my knowledge, any of the other Prides that they typically attend. So
they were in full force last year. Goodness gracious.
Yep. And I was kind of I chuckled a little bit when you asked if there were any protesters last year. I guess Parasol did a really good job of blocking all of them, because they were actually had a pretty decent size gathering last year, and I'm really happy that.
Yeah, and I didn't see them at the actual parade route when I went around because I was in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see them, because what I ended up doing, because I had flags, flying off the back of my truck, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to drive around Omaha. So I spent like probably another 2 or 3 hours just driving around Omaha with my Two Spirit Pride flags, and like driving past them because they were on the corner right as you turned in to go into the arena, the Baxter Arena parking. And so I kept pulling, like I would pull up and kind of stop and just sit there with the truck. So, and we've got somebody here, Michelle, one of our other big fans. We were the Parasol Patrol last year. We had so much fun chasing down the haters. All right. Well, now just be careful out there, y'all. Okay, so let's get back to some more good news. Let's not focus on those protesters and whatnot. I'm actually going to pull up the Facebook page here, because we do have the lovely
Yes.
Ellicott is the 2022 Grand Marshal, which is amazing. You can actually go to Heartland Pride's Facebook page and read up on Avalisa. And I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste a link to that for those folks who may not know. If you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, you can actually find more information about Avalisa there. But not only that, you can also find a ton of information about, here's that's past. No more booth space, right?
No, we closed that up.
We do have like this is awesome. 2022 parade sponsors, Yahoo. Platinum sponsor, Heartland Center for Reproductive Medicine. Very cool. The VIP lounge sponsor is Markle.
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Okay. Markle Corporation. And then here's again more information about the parade route. Here's some information about the entertainment this year. We've got Thelma Houston. And I know if you go to the website, and actually I'm going to go pull the website up again real quick. Open link in new tab. Because if you go to the website, you can actually see a whole list of who's performing. So this is a nice little, parade at 10 a.m. Old Market, festival is at noon. Doors open at noon. When does the actual entertainment start?
Doors open at 4, and I think it begins at 4:30ish.
Okay, so these entertainers don't start until 4:30.
Those and local as well.
Okay, so there's no entertainment, no drag queens or anything performing while the festival stuff is happening in the other room, right?
Correct. There will be individuals doing, I don't know the correct term for it, but they'll be engaging in the 21 and up, doing demonstrations. That's the word. In the 21 and up area. We have a section secluded for that, and they will be checking IDs or wristbands to make sure that you are 21. But there will be having that in the 21 and over section. We have more plans to have different things for next year. But with all the change happening right now, we didn't want to put too much change in this year.
Right. Got it. Okay. So from 4:30 to 6:30, local performers. Is there a list somewhere about who's performing when?
No, not yet. But they'll be mixed in with the national entertainment.
Oh, okay. So
they'll be weaved in and out.
Okay. Because I'm showing a pretty tight timeline here. Thelma at 6:30, Nina at 7, Derek Barry is at 8:05, Thea Houston is 8:15, Prince Poppycock at 9, Lady Bunny at 9:30, and then this
purposely put her that late.
Yeah, because she's she's a little crass.
Yeah.
She's a little crass. But you know what? She's earned the right. She's been doing her thing for a very long time. She's an icon to the community. If you don't know Lady Bunny, you'll want to go definitely see her. And then the headliner is Carmet, original Pussycat doll, or the original Pussycat Boys. All right. So that's a pretty nice lineup
Yeah, and
we've
this is
got
the
going
first year we
on.
have entertainers that are bringing backup dancers, so it's new for us. So we're excited to
Yeah.
see how that'll go.
Well, and probably a much bigger stage area too, right? For
Yeah,
them to perform on.
it is.
Great. So who are some of the local performers that are going to be?
I have a list. Hold on.
You
There are 20
should have
individuals,
that
and
list.
Avalise is performing as well.
Yep. I know she was telling me that she is going to be performing at Youth Pride as well.
Let's
Right?
see. Yes. Dominic.
All right. Well, anybody who's watching, if you have any
So
questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we will answer those questions for
if I
you.
mess up the names, I'm sorry. I might pronounce them wrong. These are names that are just listed in the order that they were given to me. They're not listed as the entertainment lineup order. Treasure Rose, Lucy Roxia, Sophia Kennedy, Fantasia Garcia, Giselle Jacobs, Apoliano D. McQueen. I might say that wrong. I'm sorry. Andrew Guinness, Dren Kennedy, Sabrina Marks, Baby Girl, Christina X, Mimosa, Avalisa Davenport, Ayana D. Tension. Sorry if I said that wrong. Alex Androgeny, Sterling Rose, Jackie O. Kennedy, AK 47, Heather Lovato Roxia, Veronica Kennedy, Oxycontin, Treasure Rose, and Lucy again.
Nice. All right. So we got a really great lineup of local drag performers who are joining us as well. What else do the people need to know about Pride this weekend? What are you most excited about for the weekend, Nikki?
This Pride has been more stressful for me because of all the change that we've had. And I'm very used to getting information out. I mean, if you look at Facebook, I'm live streaming all the doggone time,
Oh, yeah.
both on my personal as well as the Heartland Pride page. And it's gotten so good that I was shopping at Target and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the Heartland Pride girl." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like I can't even go to Target anymore. And he's like, "Can I get your picture?" And I was like, "Yeah." So
Cool, though.
yeah, it is cool. But us having to announce so late everything, and it feels like we're behind the eight ball, but we really weren't. Like we were, like all this stuff started happening, planning last year. Like as soon as Lost Pride ends, we
Oh,
start
yeah.
planning the new one.
Yep. I think you might take 1 month off. That's what we did. We usually would have the Pride,
Well, we
take
do
a month
take
off,
kind of. We
and then
do the
the month
postpartum.
after that, start
Yeah.
planning for next year.
And we already have next year's Pride date. We'll announce that after Pride is over. So that's a plus for us.
Okay.
But I think seeing everything come together on a much bigger scale than what I'm used to is going to be fun because I started all the way when we were down by the river and moved with Pride all the way to Stinson Park to Baxter and now over to CHI. It's just really cool to see that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Samuel, how about you? What are you most excited about? And don't tell me the parade being over.
No, not at all. I have to say everything. I actually thought about this just before we hopped on. Speaking of happy here, Nikki and I were at the storage unit this evening, and I was looking at all of the carts and the tents and everything that has historically been at Pride, and it's almost overwhelming to think about how it's changed over the years. To know that we're going into CHI this year is huge. I mean, that
Mhm.
is a huge venue. It's a huge change. I think what I'm most excited for, though, is when I'm at the Pride Parade and I'm driving my little golf cart down the street with Nikki and the music going, there is not a single person around that's not happy. Everything in the world, all the problems, all the hate that our community gets, it just seems to disappear. There is so much happiness in the air. I'm like tearing up thinking about it right now because last year I remember looking at Nikki and being like, we did it. Cause
We were crying while we were driving the
yeah,
cart.
we were literally driving through the parade on our golf carts with tears in our eyes. Cause it's just overwhelming how much happiness is in the air, and overwhelming in a good way. That's what I'm most excited for. Going to the CHI Center. I mean, last year I think I got up at 4:30 in the morning, drove by my mom's house to make sure no trees were down on it, pulled one out of her driveway before going downtown. And so, I mean, my day started at 4:30 and didn't end until almost 11 that night. And I got home, and it's such a long day and it's so much work, but it doesn't even feel like work because it's so much fun. And seeing the smiles, especially on the youth, is
Yes.
why I do it anyway. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I can't think of any other way that I'd want to spend my time. So
yeah.
And I love whenever I see older couples, because my wife and I have been together for 22 years almost. And I love seeing the older couples that could not be themselves. And I'm like, I'm hoping that when I'm their age, I can be like that still.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing to, like, I go sit in the VIP area, not to do any of the VIP stuff because I'm allergic to every doggone thing possible. But it's so amazing to watch everything come to play from sitting that high and watching all the individuals just engage with each other, with the entertainment, and be themselves. Like, that's, if you have nothing to do on Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, just go and people watch and see the love that individuals have. It's amazing.
Yeah.
there really is, I think, a different energy at Pride, it seems. And maybe it's because, we're all a part of the community, but it just seems like it's different than any other concert, than any other event. I mean, the level of happiness is words don't describe it. If you've never gone, you have to go. And I know there's a lot of people probably watching that can't go, whether it's due to unsupportive, people in the household. Maybe you're not out yourself. But just know that even if you can't be there, there's a lot of people that love everybody, that love you, and that support is there even if you can't be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think the thing that I would say is so special about Pride is the fact that you are literally surrounded by people like you, and that there are, people like us all together in the same room.
And so this is the first way. This is the only way I can be around individuals like us because I have a seizure disorder, and so I can't do the bar scene. And I bring my work home with me, so I never have outside time to go and socialize with other individuals that are part of our community that I'm friends with on Facebook. I need to learn how to not do that, but this is the one and only time I can be around people like myself.
Yeah. And I mean, for somebody like me, one of the very first Pride celebrations that I was a part of, I actually DJ'd in the early 90s. We had it at UNO, and it was a really small gathering of people. There wasn't a whole bunch of us there. The National Coming Out Day, when we first started having National Coming Out Day here in Omaha, and I've seen the changes over the years because I've always been involved in part of, and there's just, there's something beautiful about it. Right. And, I know that there are folks that are haters out there. I totally get it. I totally understand their frustration and all these things because I used to be that way. I used to be someone who was constantly sitting by judging as opposed to getting involved and truly understanding. Like, really, honestly, the only way to change something is to get involved and have your voice be heard. That's how you show up. And don't just show up to one meeting to complain. Show up and actually put your words into action and provide that volunteer support. If you don't want to be a part of the organization on the board, don't serve on the board. Volunteer for your 2 hours, get your ticket to go to the event for free. Boom, you're done. right? So just to remind folks, you can volunteer by going to this link, which is heartlandpride.org/volunteer22. So this is this year. They're still accepting volunteers. They've already got enough help for Youth Pride, but they do need some help, especially with the parade. Not a whole lot of heavy lifting, though, folks. Right?
No.
It's more about kind of helping direct traffic, help
exactly.
people get
for
to
the
know where they
parade.
need
It's
to
checking
go.
in, making sure the people are in their space. If we're missing a group, saying, "Hey, this group isn't here," so we can let the front know where they're doing the announcements. Hey, group number 57 isn't in today. You can skip their number, their information. Like that's as hard as it is for the parade.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at the event itself, what kind of volunteer opportunities for the event itself?
They're helping, say, Corporation X is coming in. I need to get to my space. Can you help me get there? And they're helping escort the people there.
Cool. All right.
And
All
Olivia's
right,
phenomenal to work with. Like
awesome.
she's so easy.
I needed to call Olivia today, but I didn't get a chance to do that because I had 1,000,001 things blow up. But I need to call her tomorrow. I also need to get a hold of the CHI Center because I need to have electricity. So I got to sign up and pay for that. So, all right, cool. Well, the two of you just hang on here. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. We had a lot of people kind of show up, pop in, pop out. But thank you so much, Samuel and Nikki, not just for being here tonight, but for just your incredible dedication to having Pride be here every year. It is not lost on me, the kind of volunteer effort that is. So thank you so much. And thank you everybody who watched. I am Eli Rigatuso. You've been watching Speaking of Happy, and that is it for us tonight. So good night.